I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.
All right. Um, Queen Sunkiss, on my last live stream, um, she said, because I was talking about Jamal Bryan, um, and how Jamal Bryan and the black church as a whole is the reason why black male leadership is not, because of Jamal Bryan. Black male leadership will not be trusted because there's too many black pastors, not enough black men who are in business. Um, uh, there's not enough black men in business, in law, and science that are part of the leadership. Mostly, um, mostly we look up to um, is entertainers, and I do put the black pastor in the black church as part of entertainment. And she says something that I want, that should be a topic, but let me just do a prerequisite position here. Uh, Maybe you might want to touch. There might be a part two to this, but I do not believe in what Queen Sanchez says. I just disagree with the idea. Hold on. You got these telemarketers anyway. Um, are black people? She said that black people are the conscience of America. Um, I disagree with that. I don't think black people are a black America is the conscience of America, because the way I see it is, if we were the conscience of America, then therefore um we would be having the conversations we're having today. The basis of our conversations has nothing to do with law, has nothing to do with science, has nothing to do with business. The first things that come out of our mouth, and I listened to Pastor Jennings' sermon on Joy 105 channel, and it's always the same blasted thing. It's about what is under a woman's skirt, or it's always about gender roles, the roles between what a woman should be doing, what a man should be doing. I call these the Tyler Perry arguments, and it's like nowhere where I go, that is the argument. This is the conversation. Gender roles. You're not a man until you do this. You're not a woman until you do this. X, Y, and Z. And this is the things that we learn from that pulpit. While everybody else in this world it's moving on. And we're still stuck having these conversations, these endless conversations that, and it's like, it's a logical loop. Like, when are we going to move beyond that? It's been a frustration of mine. It's really been a frustration, and it, you get accused of being called a coon if you trying to go a different route of, you're trying to go beyond that, and then some people thinking, oh, you're gay because you don't want to talk about what women are doing, or it's either you're a coon or you're gay or you're this because you don't want to touch that stupid ass topic that I call it the Tyler Perry argument. And are we the conscience? Because the way I see it, if we are the conscience of American society, I would surmise, I would believe that will be more listened to rather than being put to the side and ignored. You know, if we was really the conscience of America, I think though they would show up in these black churches every 2, 4, 6 years asking for votes. I get really frustrated, especially during election time. I always see, and I'm glad I don't see it where I'm at, but I'm really getting tired of seeing Mayor so and so, Senator so and so, Congressperson so and so, presidential candidate X, Y, and Z, um, coming to your nearest Black Baptist church or or AMC church when you damn well know they don't show up on white churches doing that. And the only time when they show up for white churches is when when there is a military goal, like John Hagee's church from Cornerstone Church that's out there in San Antonio. That's the only time when they invite, quote unquote, a political leader to speak. Other than that, we hear just lip service. And I just it's frustrating. And I wish though we move beyond this. It's the same image, the same conversation, the same discussion. The only difference is different faces. Like, we can't move beyond this type of thinking. And it goes back to Jamal Bryant, right? It goes back to Jamal Bryant and the Target thing and everything else. Black male leadership got destroyed. The prospect of black male leadership has been destroyed by the by the Jamal Bryants of the world. Because if he was if this was a businessman, right? Let's say it was some businessman, a man who has a business. I'm only talking about the men here. I'm not talking about the women. I'm talking about only the men here, right? And no, I'm not trying to do this manosphere red pill. I'm trying to examine the problem I have here. If this was a businessman behind the Target um, protest, he will look at this from the aspect of um, he would look at from the aspect of the bottom line and No, how would this would affect his bottom line? Would there be an increase or would it be a decrease? Jamal Bryant is not a businessman. Jamal Bryant is a pastor of a church. So whatever screw up he has a fallback. He can fall right back to that church he got, where all those churchgoers can send him, can pat him on the back, tell him, sad, give him a pity prayer. Yeah, I call it a pity prayer, and they're going to, he can do a little sermon about abundance, and he give his best try, and people going to feel sorry for him for sympathy. A businessman gonna look at it like, well, listen, it's gonna affect my if I say something wrong, it's gonna affect my bottom line. I'm gonna lose some money behind this. I'm gonna lose a customer base if I go back on my word. Let's see, hold on. What's going on, Brown Ellie? White supremacy had done a lot, but let's also let's not kid ourselves. It's not just white supremacy. We do things. We do our own. We do things. We do our own self-inflicted wounds. Okay, we got wounds that are self-inflicted, and I'm speaking about the self-inflicted wounds here. So that's why I said if we were the, if you will, the excuse me, if we were the conscience of the world, conscience of America, I think I think we would have a better viewpoint towards us, right? And plus, though, I think things. Well, I'm gonna say it like this: we would have better process. We would have better things going on among ourselves, and also I think the outside, that those on the outside have better view as well. I think there's yin and yang in that, So I don't know. It's kind of remind me of there was a guy named Mr. Black. Mr. Black was a black conservative. Some of y'all might remember him. But this is before. Well, you know what? Most of y'all wasn't here during this time period. So he did a cleanup thing in Houston, and he asked all the content creators to meet up in Houston. He contacted O'Shea. He contacted David Carroll. He contacted Obsidian. Even the villainous Kristen Karazan was contacted. Out of all the men, only one actually said, "I'm gonna help you out." That's just the men. Now the women, who were the swirlers, divestors, so forth, they said, "Okay, Mr. Black, we'll help you out." While David Carroll and Obsidian said, "Well, I'm not gonna be a pickup man, trying to make it all about sex. It had nothing to do about sexual activity or sexual access to women. That's not even the point." And a lot of us, and when I say us, I mean as black people in this sector. I won't say us because I'm not part of you niggas. I don't have that same mind frame. I don't have the same mind framework that y'all have. I come from a different uh uh mindset. But y'all act like cleaning up the community in Houston was something that wouldn't benefit you in getting um cardinal desire, cardinal knowledge, carnal, no, not cardinal, carnal. I don't know why I said cardinal, carnal. You know, I'm just sitting there like, if we were the conscience of the world, I think that our minds wouldn't be on that. I think that we would be somewhere else. Our minds would be on something else at this point. Now I'm using this Houston thing because that's the closest I can say how people on YouTube come together in real life, met up and did some real shit, which didn't happen. Only the women showed up. All right, only the women showed up because I'm trying to remember. I think it's Third Ward, Houston, at this point, and I'm just sitting there like, I know it's just like this. We just talking about this small ass sector, YouTube, but given that there's 1,000 people in this sector at that time period, and the arguments and discussions about, you know it would at least prove the point where our heart is at. So no, our hearts are not is not pure, and our hearts and because our hearts are not pure, I think we should not be considered the conscience of America, of society. I might want to do a part two to this because this is the Queen Sun, because Queen Sunkist raised this issue up on my last live stream, and I would like to, you know, I don't want to be the only one talking about it, but maybe further down the road I'll do a part two to this. But I just think that because our minds are not on what we should be on, we kind of ignore the big issues, and we still want to talk about what you know the dating mating aspect rather than talking about what to do to survive. um I just have a yeah, what's going on, Simply Deep? um yeah, so I might come back with part two, or might go on to another topic, because there's a lot of going on. Oh, a meteor crash in Ohio. um um yeah, meteor crash in Ohio, and they said the sound was so deafening that people heard it from New York and Pennsylvania. I wonder if, and they filmed it yet yesterday. It streaked across the sky and then explode. Well, it should have. I was hoping that motherfucker would just land in Washington D.C. so we wouldn't have to be worried about. Well, you know what? I'll be quiet. I'll be quiet. So, um, yeah. So I'm gonna get off of here. I say what's on my, So I might come back later on. Um, yeah, let me come back and I'll talk to y'all later. Big J out.
I am not here to debate with anyone. I have devoted all of my adult life to this subject. I only debate with my equals. All others I teach.